Before starting this course on career counseling, it is extremely important to understand why you should take your career choice seriously. In this video, we will help you understand the importance of making the right career choice for yourself. So, why is your career choice so important? It is important because it determines a lot of things in your life, including number 1, quality of life. Your career choice plays a huge role in deciding where you live, how flexible your life is, and the kinds of things you are able to do in your free time. Number 2, identity. Ask any elder person about their career and they will tell you about it as a part of their identity. They'll say something like, I am a journalist, instead of, I report news. Notice how everybody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And not, what do you want to do when you grow up? This shows that your career choice shapes your identity. Number 3, impact. Every human life touches thousands of other lives in so many different ways. If you select any 60-year-old person who is about to retire, take a time machine, find him as an infant, throw that infant into trash, and then come back to the present day, you'll find that a countless number of things around you have changed. So whatever career you choose, the world will be affected by it. Anything that determines your quality of life, your identity, and the impact that you make should be taken very seriously. And that includes your career choice also. So we hope that this short video could help you understand the importance of making the right career choice. Having done that, we will now move forward to start our career counseling course. We are pretty excited and we hope you are too. So, let's begin. See you.
We're live, guys.
Good evening, everyone. सबको स्वागत है. Welcome to day 88 of ProBano's live podcast. Or firstly, I want to welcome all the audience members. Thank you for coming. And of course, Aditya, Mr. Sen, and Vinayak running the stream. Welcome. And आज की जो हमारे guest हैं, Shalini Krishnan, who is a product designer. So Shalini ji, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Saman.
Thank you. मैं शालिनी जी को इंट्रोड्यूस कर देता हूँ. Shalini Krishnan is a product designer. She has a master's in information design from NID National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, and a bachelor's in engineering in computer science. Up in Delhi, studied in Bangalore and Ahmedabad, and has lived in different parts of India. In the early years of her career, Shalini worked with design teams of leading corporates like Honeywell, Cisco, and Adobe for over 7 years in Bangalore. She then took a break from her corporate life to serve a social cause through SBI-YFI Youth for India Fellowship Program in 2014. She worked on the ground with NGO Gram Vikas in Odisha to set up design innovation lab called Kalpanadham Roundup in one of their residential schools. The schools are first-generation learners belonging from the tribal origins. This project opened up a new dimension for the school in terms of recognizing the inherent creative capacity of the school community and created a huge impact on the students and teachers. Shalini continued her journey in the social impact sector in the US, where she was part of 2 more social impact fellowships and also designed for an online sex education product for youth in Africa. At present, she works as a product design lead with a tech startup. So Shalini, again, thank you so much for coming. And आज बहुत ही important topic discuss होने वाला है. But before we get to the topic, if you can introduce yourself in your own words and address the audience. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Saman, for the introduction. So hi, everyone. And So I'm Shalini, and I have been designing for the past, say, 12 years. And I started my journey in design mostly, like I think at a very young age when I didn't know it was design. And I was exposed to a lot of different kinds of education, if I can say. Like I was in a Montessori school initially in my kindergarten, and then I was a student of Bharatanatyam from the very beginning, and I learned music. And I mean, extracurricular were always part of my education, and that kind of built in a really strong, if I can say, like a thread of alternative education in my in myself. And as I progressed in life, I realized that it is important to experience life in not just through textbooks, but like life in general outside, like live it, experience it, and learn from that. And that is what I have tried to bring into Kalpanadham. And Kalpanadham, we will talk about it more in this podcast. And yeah, I'm really excited to share my journey. And yes, I think that's good. That's a good start.
Yeah. Shalini, firstly, can you talk more about Kalpanadham and can you share your journey from information design to Kalpanadham working with school students in the tribal areas? So, matlab,
Yes.
how did that happen? Can you tell us your journey? How did that happen? And what does Kalpanadham do? Obviously, I gave a small introduction. I don't
Yeah.
think that justifies what you guys do, but can you
Yeah.
give us a clearer picture and tell us what it is about?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's quite a journey, I would say. Like as I said, I was always exposed to different kinds of educations as I was growing as a child and even as an adult. And I always thought that was an important aspect of your personality when you take up anything in life. So I did my information design, I did my engineering first, and then I realized that engineering is not really satisfying a human need that I have within me, and somewhere that is not getting met. And that's why I took a decision myself to apply to a design school and get into information design in NID, much to the dislike of, say, my parents, or because design was not really the in thing. Even though I got campus placement, I chose not to go forward with that, and it was a hard sell. But I made it, and NID being one of the most prestigious design institutes in the country. And from there, I was fortunate enough to get into great corporates, like placed in great corporates like Honeywell. That was my first job. And 7 years into corporate life in Cisco, Honeywell, and Adobe, I realized that yes, design is really powerful. What I had learned at NID is really powerful, and it can be used and leveraged to actually better the society. And just sitting in a corporate, that was not happening enough for me. Like I could definitely contribute to the local nonprofits, but still I wanted to do something which was much more intense. And I was on the lookout for something more exciting. And I came across the State Bank of India Youth for India Fellowship. And it was a 1-year fellowship where you had to be positioned in a remote location all by yourself. Obviously, there'll be support systems of the NGO and SBI, but yeah, that was a big decision, because I was leaving my very, very settled life of 7 years of corporate life, where you just begin to like grow in your corporate ladder, so to say. And I was married, and I would have to live away from my husband, like for a year, which was not so much of a concern for both of us, but definitely for everybody around us. I applied to the fellowship, and I was not sure if I'll get through, but I did get through, because probably I was so sure that I wanted to do it. And I got positioned in Odisha, which is like one of the most so-called backward states in India. I don't like to use that term for Odisha, but it's I think one of the most culturally rich places in the country. And I had never been to Odisha earlier, so this was like a very new thing, new sector. That's a social sector. So everything was new for me, and when I landed there, and when I started gelling with the community, I met the kids in the non-profit run school. Um, I mean, I realized that textual education is, yes, it is important, because it kind of gives you a standard, but what was getting lost was the contextual knowledge of those tribal communities that the kids brought with them to the school, and that was getting lost somewhere in the transition, because it was a residential school. They lived away from their families, so their natural inherent talent and acumen wasn't getting leveraged, and they were thrusted upon this textual knowledge, which was very hard for them to learn. So there was this conflict, that this constant conflict between them. And um, I can say, being a student of design, being exposed to art, I could relate to that, empathize with that really quickly. And that's when I decided that this place needs something more. This place needs something more contextual, more real, and more hands-on, for the kids to be even be able to learn the textual content. Like, they needed some kind of expression and freedom. So that's how this whole setup of Kalpanadham came into being. So Kalpanadham basically stands, it's like I call it an equal opportunity platform to foster and formalize the creative indulgences of children. And I don't really have a very hard structure to it, because I feel creativity cannot be taught. It's just inherent, and you just provide like an ecosystem and enable it. And we used like very frugal items. Like, it was a non-profit, and this seemed like an experiment for the school and the lead of the non-profit, and they were like, "Pata nahi kya kar rahi hai, kuch to kar rahi hai." So I had to really mobilize a lot of say resources. So I use things like thrown away paper, um, wasted cardboards, and thrown away bottles, and like it's almost like a radiwala kind of thing, I used to actually tell my co-fellows, don't throw that egg crate, just give me, I will use it. So I had this pile of stuff in my room in a corner, and I would take that to the school and let the kids explore. And then we had like small things like Fevicol, pencil. I mean, those things were also like it was a big ask in that space, but yes, we managed it. So yeah, that's like the precedence of Kalpanadham.
And I think since, again, I keep saying this, in my limited experience in the teaching industry, I've seen that kids actually need a platform. I'm not saying they're not creative, but वो platform मिलता नहीं है. भाई दिमाग में इतने idea है, मैं किसको बताऊँ, कहाँ पे बताऊँ? And I think it's important to give them a platform where they're like, okay, dude, the stage is yours, go crazy. I mean, don't go crazy, but go crazy.
Yeah,
So I think that platform is very important. And when you think about the schools, like 40:1, 50:1 ratio hota hai teachers ka, then where are you getting that individual attention or the platform to speak? And I'm glad, chalo, not all over the world. I wouldn't say India or like my state or something. Kids are kids. The countries don't matter. So I think it's good to see that कहीं पे तो शुरुआत हो रही है. If not on a big scale, कहीं तो शुरुआत हो रही है. And with that, I want to get into today's topic, of course, जो कि I think, again, as we said, very important topic, which is how to teach and nurture creativity of children.
Yes.
I think, Shalini, if you want to give some context to that topic, and then we can get into the discussion.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'll do is I have like a deck, a presentation of how we set up Kalpanadham. What were the ingredients that went into, what were the precursors, what was the thought process. And we did a lot of workshops, and each of the workshops had a flavor to it, a very strong flavor and a very strong learning aspect. So I can share those with the audience, and we can either take questions on the side, or we can take questions at the end. I'll try to keep it short and I'll try to keep it engaging too. Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen.
And absolutely, guys, अगर audience में आपके कोई भी सवाल है, any questions, any doubts, or anything you want to learn, and also we want your perspective on what do you think? How can we nurture creativity among children? How do we encourage that skill? Now, we can't teach it clearly, as Shalini ji said, we can't teach creativity, but we can nurture and we can provide an environment where that is possible.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What is your opinion on how can we do that? And of course, keep asking your question. There we go.
So I would like to start with this video. This is Jasman. He was about 12 years old when I met him first in the school. And he actually got me thinking the first time. So after this video, we'll talk.
A Nokia phone. Show us, Jasman. What is this?
This is my mobile phone.
This is your mobile phone. Okay. So what is it? It's a Nokia mobile phone.
Yes.
So where is? Show me the back side of it. Oh, what is this? Can you open it? Oh wow. What is this inside?
Battery. Battery.
Battery. And what is under the battery? Oh my God! What is this?
The Airtel card is 2G.
Oh wow! This is 2 GB memory card,
Yes.
and that is the Airtel SIM card.
Yes.
How did you make this? You made it using? You- And what is this red thing? Red wire? This is the headset. Earplugs. How do you put the earplugs? Like that. Wow. Show me how you put it in the phone. Remove it and put it again. Yeah, remove it. Oh, how did you make this using a pen ka nib? Very good. Thank you, Jasman. Very good.
Thanks. Here Jasman share his phone. So this was the first time I experienced something inside of me just struck that a kid who is so fascinated by technology is living in a very remote location where there is hardly any network. At least at that time when I was there was hardly any network available. And he detailed out each and every part of the mobile phones of those days. I'm talking 2014. And the detail to which he was able to do it with very like almost non-existing, nothing. You saw the video, there was absolutely no fancy stuff there, and yet be able to create something so tangible. So that was the starting point of me wanting to move forward with the concept of Kalpanadham. So I would say he was the stepping stone of thought for me. So Kalpanadham, basically we build capacity for imagination, critical thinking, persistence, collaboration, building empathy, and creative confidence. And these are the life skills that you need in creativity is not something you teach, but something that is inherent in every human being. You just nurture it and let it progress, and not kill it by saying that don't do this and don't do that, and too much instructions and too much teaching. Let the brain think for itself, explore, and then learn. And this is also sort of an entrepreneurial skill If you look at today's entrepreneurs, that's how they function. And if you're able to build that in kids in these rural areas, they will actually take back stuff to their communities and bring more advancements. Um, I'll just skim through some of these slides because they are in a lot of detail. So while establishing Kalpanadham, I also studied the other alternative education methods and systems that have been prevalent over these years. Like Waldorf education is a very popular and prevalent education system. Montessori, experiential learning by J.B. Kinnan, Jinan KB is actually, I mean, he takes a lot of workshops in experiential learning. His ideas of education and learning are very, very radical. If time permits, you should take one of those. Jiddu Krishnamurthy's talks are very thought-provoking. They're all available on YouTube. So we built a framework for Kalpanadham, and we tried to organize all our activities for the children under these three large umbrellas: imagination, exploration, and action. And I mean, imagination is basically, as the name suggests, to build that ability of the brain to be able to deal with abstract ideas. Exploration is the ability to not get bogged down, but continuously, persistently explore. And action is basically when you realize that there's a problem that you can solve, and how do you go about solving it, and how do you act on the different aspects of problem solving. So these were our broad umbrellas for organizing activities. And this was the only structure I followed. And this is my usual design process that I follow, where I take time to understand and then interpret the problem area. I ideate, experiment, and then evolve the idea. So this was the underlying backbone of exploring Kalpanadham as a concept and as a platform. Quickly, I'll go into further details of establishing Kalpanadham. So it was initially like I would take materials to each classroom and then have activities, and over a period it became really cumbersome because those box of activities, that box really became very difficult to carry around. So I requested the school, can I get a space which is just for Kalpanadham, for these activities. And very reluctantly they gave me the space. I can say it used to be a classroom, but they were kind enough to empty it out. So we got it in this condition, and it stands in this condition now. We actually painted it, and the graphics that you see right now is done with children with the help of a very renowned local artist from Bhubaneswar, Satyabama Maji. And this is how we got the students only. Like we cleaned all the walls, and we painted them. We hand printed this. We inaugurated the classroom. These were the initial days where that place didn't have any furniture, so we needed cupboards. We got custom made furniture. I'll dive into the workshops a bit. So luckily, because of my background, I had a really good network of friends and acquaintances who believe in these kind of education systems, and they were kind enough to lend their time voluntarily and come and take workshops with the kids. So this duo, Hari and Deepthi, they actually were moving back from the United States at that point into India, and they were more than excited to contribute to Kalpanadham. So we actually worked with them. They make these light box paper art, and they taught the kids how to make those art. They got raw material for the kids, and we had like a packed class of 40 students having this session. And these were the artifacts created by kids in a span of, say, 3 hours. And these bunch of kids are mixed bag in terms of age groups and grades. So I don't believe that creativity needs any standards, as in like grade A through grade 12. You have to bifurcate creativity in any way. I think everybody can participate in everything. So that's how Kalpanadham was structured. This is the actual mural that we finally created with the help of the kids. We projected the artwork on the wall at night, drew it, and then figured the color palette and painted it along with the kids. There's a really beautiful video on this. I'll show that maybe in some time. Now jumping to Satyabhama Maji. Satyabhama Maji has been a very, very close link to Kalpanadham. The very first person, the actual real person I spoke to about the concept was Satyabhama. I used to travel to Bhubaneswar often, taking a 3-hour train ride from the village to Bhubaneswar just to meet people, bounce up the idea, create that network, because Odisha was such a new place for me. I hardly knew anyone. And I needed that backbone, local infrastructure and ecosystem to get this concept up and running. And she's a very well-established contemporary artist from the city of Bhubaneswar. And she, along with like Kalpanadham and myself, we have done a lot of workshops. She was one of the first persons to take an actual real workshop for Kalpanadham. And since then, she has taken like quite a few of them, literally like even last December 2019, we had a workshop. So this was the first one. I Have a Dream. It was more like a project in association with the Vancouver Biennial, Biennale, where the concept was I have a dream, and that needed to be showcased in different formats. And we chose the ecosystem as the say the starting point, and how the kids can have a dream from within that ecosystem, from their surroundings. And this concept was slowly and steadily introduced to the kids, and they came up with the concept, and we created these wall murals with the kids. So these are actually papers torn out of their old notebooks which they were going to discard, and these are twigs and leaves collected from the surroundings, with the kids only collected and pasted on the wall. So it's more like the outside coming to inside. And this is the web of dreams, like an illusion. This was another illusion art that was created. So again, this is like a graphical concept introduced to the kids. On the outset, it seems like this is art, or this is just painting on the wall. But if you dig deeper, these are actually like appreciate the concept of an illusion, the concept of how do you compare different things, how do you compare like a panoramic view, or a one point convergence view. So these are very deep concepts that you can introduce to the children through these visuals. We also organized a photography workshop. Again, this whole I think 1 month workshop was led by Satyabhama, and she was the mastermind behind the different activities that were planned. Again, this was another workshop we did in a different school of Gram Vikas, further remote school. There's this person called Andy Goldsworthy, who is basically a naturalist, and he is completely in sync with nature, and he creates a lot of things purely out of nature, like using all natural material. His installations and art structures are all out of nature, and we screened a documentary movie on Andy Goldsworthy for the kids, and the kids just picked it up. Like they just made that connection instantly. These kids don't talk English so much; they hardly understand Hindi, so to say, or Odia, because they have their own local, like the tribal language that they speak, which is what they understand. That's why there's such a disconnect between the textual knowledge that the government tries to impart versus what they are able to learn. So we were trying to get as close to them, and like going to their area of understanding, which is nature. They all come from a natural surroundings. So these natural installations were actually created and conceptualized by the kids and executed as a team, obviously. So this is like a large lollipop. Like the kids, kids are kids, so they want, one of them is aspiring for a lollipop, like just a lollipop, like he'll be happy with that. So everyone got together to actually make a lollipop on the ground for him. So this is like a manifestation or expression of that aspiration. And this is like a large flower by the riverside. There's a river on the side, and riverbed stones were collected, and this large installation was created on the riverside. So and jumping on to another kind of workshop was Picnic. So we partnered with Picnic. Picnic, everybody knows, is one of the most popular and well-established community in India. They organize cultural programs, especially music and art, in different educational institutes. And they call all prominent performers, internationally acclaimed and nationally acclaimed, and they come and perform for children. So we were lucky to partner with Specmeke, and they had a rural development program through which we got very interesting performances performed for the kids. These kids had never actually seen a real performance like this, of this level and this quality. And I can't really say in words the energy of the performance and the room at that time. I think I won't be able to match it in words, but everybody was literally spellbound. And the artist, Jalapati Rao, he was kind enough to explain what he performed to the kids in very minimal words. It's almost like such performances are mostly about storytelling, and the kids were quite awestruck. And this was I'm not so much into gender biasing, but just the fact that a man is dancing like this on a stage was very, very revealing for the kids. Probably they had never seen such a thing before. Then I was kind enough to have Madhuri. She is a modern dance enthusiast. She works for Truecaller now. She used to work for LinkedIn at that time, and she came to take a 10-day modern dance and Western dance workshop for the kids. The kids chose the song that they wanted to dance in. The boys danced on Michael Jackson's song, and the kids in one of the girls in one of the Bollywood numbers. And a very structured and a very professional dance workshop was held for them, which was again very new for them. The movements, the precise movement, the calculations of the time with the song beats, it was all new, and all of them took it like really, really, really well. So if you can see, the flavor of the different kinds of workshops have been like very, very varied. It's not like you want to cut them into into a certain structure, or you want to have them grow a certain way in only painting or in only sculpting, or it's like a more holistic aspect. I mean, these are the different things you encounter in life. You don't have a same life every day, right? Every day is a new day, every day is a new challenge. So that's how that was the whole basis of establishing Kalpanadham. Creativity cannot be boxed. You have to be unboxed to experience it and to be able to be creative. So that was the whole idea of organizing these different and varied kinds of workshops. And you would ask, in such a constrained environment, how would you, what are the resources, and like how would you manage? So it was initially, like I initially mentioned, it was very, very hard to convince a very crunching non-profit organization, like school running business, to demand for something that you believe is important, but not everybody does. So I was bold enough at that time to launch crowdfunding for this whole intervention. And I was also very lucky to have friends donate a lot of material that we needed for like normal day-to-day functioning of the lab. So I had created Amazon wish list of the different stuff, basic stuff like pencils and color pencils and colors and notebooks for the kids. And I got an overwhelming response, like so many people. So this is at the back of my room where I was staying, and this was all stacked material before it went to the lab. And this was, I was sorting it in different baskets. So this was very heartwarming. And then we had this keto campaign on keto.org for financing and like a seed funding for the initiative. So we were lucky to raise like about 2,70,000 rupees. So I'll just quickly go over some of the community engagement activities we did. Apart from what we did within the school boundaries and with the teachers and the students, we also actively engaged the students, or encouraged the students to go out of the school and talk to the neighboring villagers, to the neighboring communities, to participate in the daily functioning of a village. What are the problems they're facing, because they were all in a very secluded, isolated comfort zone of a residential school, and they need to know what happens, like in life in general. So that was the aspect of bringing in the problem solving ability. So we actually got them to, like, this was again organized and managed by Satyabama, where she encouraged the kids to go speak to the different households in the villages and like basically note down the conversations they're having. And then different groups of kids did that, and then they came together and kind of created a mural of those conversations, from those conversations, for the village. So it's more like a strength of coming together of the village itself. So it's like an iconic representation of that village. And this is also a village that was Gram Vikas's own intervention. Similarly, another village, like a small kid, she wanted a bagicha, a garden out of like outside her house, and she was sad that she didn't have one. So the kids from the school actually made a bagicha for her. So it is more like a permanent bagicha now for her. So things like this basically also inculcates some empathy for your surroundings. Then we had, like, Gram Vikas had an inside studio, like for printing and stuff, and they mostly use screen printing. And I was like, wow, that's a skill to acquire. Like, you have something in house, and if you don't know how to operate it, that's shameful. So we got like batches of kids to experience what screen printing really means, and we were also always conscious to get more of the girls participate, because girls always used to hide somewhere in the background. And in Kalpanadham, like time, and I would make sure that the girls participated more and they had a voice. just because not being any gender biasing there, but just the fact that everybody needs an equal voice. So this was again like a model making kind of thing with frugal items. This was a library visit to Bhubaneswar. We got them to visit a heritage crafts village, very well-known, Raghurajpur in Odisha. We had martial arts for the girls, the senior girls. So yeah, robotics was another thing. So I'll stop here, and maybe if there are any questions, I can take the questions.
Firstly, I don't think we wanted you to stop. We can keep watching this till the end of the day. I think if I don't care if the audience says no, Samanth, we want to hear a question. No, I want to keep looking at the happy kids and see the work they've done. That I don't mind.
Wow.
But one thing I will say, I want to read out a few comments from the comment section.
Sure.
Firstly, Pushkar Das says, I have no questions. Just want to thank ProBano for introducing us to such individuals. Shalini, keep working with the kids with the same zeal and zest. We are proud to have people like you in our country. God bless.
Wow. Thank you.
And then Anita ji says, who's a regular, again, Pushkar Das is also a regular. He says, I'm feeling like I'm watching a beautiful movie of reform of India in India. And Anita ji's another comment was, welcome Shalini. I respect you for your beautiful and big heart for such a nicely done work.
Thank you. Actually, the heart is there.
And I want to, me personally, I want to change the topic for today. I don't know. I haven't discussed with Aditya or Mr. Sen, but the topic was, how do we nurture creativity among children? I want to change that, and I want to talk about how can we look at the world from the eyes of children.
Absolutely. Oh wow, that's really beautiful. Yes.
Because looking at this, I don't think we need to teach them anything. We can't enable them anything. We need to learn from them.
Yeah,
That's the bottom line.
Of course. Like honestly, like I think I wanted to say that in the beginning, I didn't teach anything here. I honestly, I'm not even like so much of a hands-on person. Like I'm not a painter. I'm not like, I'm just all in one, some sort of all in one. Okay. So, but what I understand is this is important, and I'm just an enabler, a facilitator, and I knew this will work. And I was just connecting the dots for everyone. Like a lot of the workshops have been spearheaded by Satyabama, and she still continues to do that. She is my really strong partner on ground, and we discuss a lot to date how to plan what kind of activities to do. So we are always doing that, and we're always looking for avenues, and I basically facilitate the whole effort. And I'm happy that at the end the community embraced it, because this concept is really like hard to accept for a very structured and regimented school which is following like a syllabus. And initially I wouldn't even get time with the kids, because I had to like just finish my activity in that 30 minutes, and it was just impossible to do that. And I was also lucky that this was a residential school, so the kids were almost always there. And a lot of times we would have discussions on, say, penguins, discussion on moon, and like a lot of times we will end up watching a movie like, say, Wall-E. I can't believe me, like a movie like Wall-E, these kids tripped on it. Like they were like, oh my God, like they fell in love with those characters. So that was very eye-opening. And just to give you like a small snippet of, so this boy on the right, his name is Bhabani. And Bhavani is not like, he doesn't consider himself as an artist. He doesn't paint. So he was very reluctant to enter Kalpanadham. He was like, Didi, mujhe chitra nahi banana aata. So I was like, chitra nahi banao, kuch aur banao. So he was very good with hand skills. So if you can see, he has actually made, this is a speaker like a palm-sized speaker he made out of materials like broken speakers of our headphones that you get that break, fall apart. And he actually this was actually the jukebox for the lab. So he would actually come and play music every evening while the other kids, were busy painting or creating some kind of structure. And so yeah, I mean this, and eventually he felt comfortable in Kalpanadham. That became his home. So he was an expert of a different kind within Kalpanadham. And then he would collaborate with others, like he would build something and get someone else to paint it for him. So now, and these are some of the explorations the kid did. We got them t-shirts because they said that kids who participated regularly in Kalpanadham wanted to be unique. So we ordered t-shirts for them, and they just painted them. Like they were not asked to paint anything, they just painted them because they were plain t-shirts. And this is like a wired, like a camel. They've never really seen a real camel, but there was these materials that I would keep collecting from the surroundings, and there were these bunch of wires, and he just intertwined it into a camel like in no time. So these are like brilliant hand skills that is not like going anywhere. When you give a child like a book with letters, and I mean there is no connection. Like you have to build that connection hand, your just experiencing life and the book. And this is like we got this painting to Rob. He's very popular. He used to be on television in earlier days. He used to take craft sessions for the kids. So we got this. He made this painting for Rob, and we posted it to him. This was the latest workshop that Satyabama did. This was last year in April. It was a canvas painting workshop. So the kids actually canvas on wooden frames. They were taught how to do that because that's a very technical skill. Most artists are able to do that. So they were taught how to do that. Each one stretched their own art frame. And they created these paintings, as you can see. And most of these concepts are from within the surroundings. They're very, very abstract, very unique, very vibrant in colors, and very thought-provoking. Unfortunately, I don't have like each of them in the slide, but and we were able to get these 30 art pieces exhibited in the local cafe in Bhubaneswar. They were up for sale, but we couldn't make too much sale because as an expression they're just so unique that people always expect like high-end artistic perfect work, and these are mostly created by kids. So it has a very, very contextual and a very raw feel to it, which I like, but I think very few people are able to appreciate. But I was more than happy to even get it out of the school into the mainstream, like a city like Bhubaneswar, culturally rich. And we had a small inauguration with Gram Vikas founder, who came to inaugurate the exhibition. And these are some of the kids who got to travel from the village to Bhubaneswar city, and some of them were like first time travelers in train. So that was very, very interesting. And the impact, I would say, like, I don't know if you can read this. This says made in Kalpanadham. Like when I saw this for the first time, and it is created by Jasmine. It's like a motorboat that he made out of some materials he got from a local mobile repair shop, and the rest of the materials were available in the lab. And so I think I felt that okay, I've been able to create some impact here now. The kids have owned the space. So, and that's all that I was looking for. And till now we have we haven't grown immensely, but Gram Vikas has 4 schools, and we have good participation in those 4 schools. These 30 workshops, I'm not sure if I counted it right, but some of them have been month-long workshops. So there have been many is in that 1 month. So it's like it's a slightly varied count, and yeah, pretty much this is how it's been, and we plan to steadily like keep doing it. Our motto is not to like grow and grow big, and I mean, but be able to contribute where it is really required, and be strong contextually, be able to support well, and not even if not too much and too many, but be able to support a little but effectively. Um, so yeah, this is my favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures. I always put this, a helicopter, like a large plane over these colorful buildings, and this is the team in a nutshell. Like that's me. That's Ajay Baral, who handles the in-house art studio within Gram Vikas, who is responsible for the screen printing and stuff, and Satyabama, who has been like the backbone for all activities and workshops, like executing them and getting everything around the clock done. Devendra sir, he's the principal of Gram Vikas. Without his support, I don't think Kalpanadham would have existed. He was the only one who supported it from the very initial stages. Yeah. Before I go into the challenges, I'll just quickly go to the videos. The video that I had promised I'll play. I think this you have to watch. So, thanks for your patience. Actually, this mural is basically like an astronaut who landed into the village in the middle of the jungle and is reading a book with animals and around him, or around her. and there's a walking telescope, and there's a lot of foliage. And so yeah, this was a concept created with the kids. And just one last video. This was my first activity with the kids, Sky Lanterns, where I taught them how to measure, like, doing the maths, measuring with a scale and getting the measurements right. So we got butter paper and, bamboo sticks to make sky lanterns. And we did everything bottom up, created those, and there was an event in the school and we lit them at the end of the event. So this is totally like learning by experience. Like I myself was making them for the first time. So it was real fun. Thanks. Any questions?
Shalini, I think what we'll do, with your permission, can we extend the podcast by 15-20 minutes?
Yeah, I might not need that much time. I'm almost there to the end. But yeah, definitely, like if there are questions, I'm open.
Right. Firstly, I mean, because time ke liye, so Mr. Sen and Aditya, one question each, even for me. 3 questions for each of us, one question each.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
firstly, Mr. Sen.
Good evening and namaskar. Welcome to the show, Shalini. And what you have done in the last 50 odd or 55 minutes is you have woven magic into everyone's hearts who have been watching this. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And as I was watching this, I saw your face when you showed the first video of Jasmine, and your face said it all. The smile on your face when he was talking about his Nokia, the Nokia phone that he made out of paper and cardboard. I think that said it all. All I have to say is at this point, I am reminded of a quote by Charlie Chaplin. What he said was, that's 100 years ago. He said, "The world is not composed of heroes and villains. The world is not composed of heroes and villains, but of men and women with all the passions that God has given them. The ignorant condemn, the wise pity, and I will add from my side, I only bow to thee." With that, back to Samat.
Wow.
Right, Shalini, I think now you can close the presentation. We'll.
Okay.
Is there anything left?
No. I just wanted to like share, if anything, like my challenges that I faced during the setting up of Kalpanadham. Like that's all. Otherwise, this
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
much everything that-
Because there are a few audience questions, and I want to get to Aditya, क्योंकि हर बार आदित्य का ही टाइम से कट हो जाता है. So
Oh.
I want to give him at least one question today.
See, I kept my
Yeah,
word.
sure. So we
I
can do
kept my word. I
questions.
did ask a question. Sometimes there are no questions to ask, just to sit and pay homage. Thank you.
Very true. Very true. But even after that being said, I have one question.
Yes, please go ahead. Questions are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is pretty much related to challenge only. I would want to firstly address that and then extend that a bit. So
Okay.
my question is, first of all, I would like to address the amazing work done by you and your team and the students. So big ups and big claps for that. And
Thank you.
it was amazing to see the work, and I think the audience comments reflect that how amazing the work has been, and it was a treat to watch the students so happy, you so happy after watching the students so happy even now, and
Yeah.
those amazing paintings that they made. I think Tare Zameen Par Part 2 can be made out of this. You remember the painting at the last which he drew was supposed
Yeah.
to be a masterpiece. So something like
Yeah.
that. The mural painting we saw,
Yeah.
it pretty much reminded me of that scene. So my question is that at the beginning you mentioned that the school administration very reluctantly gave me the space.
Yeah.
And somewhere after that, like after maybe the 45th minute mark, you again address the fact that it's very difficult in a structured school to bide time and bide infrastructure for activities which nurture creativity or anything which is not a part of the subject. So my question
Yeah.
is that any school that we would go to, even for career counseling, right? So career counseling, which is what we do, it is
Yeah.
always a nice to have कि हम ये देखेंगे और हम खुश हो जाते हैं.
Yes.
But according to you, so this is a two-part question. So first is, according to you, should it be made compulsory for students, or should it be made optional that they can choose this? And
Mm-hmm.
secondly, can every school adopt this? Because अगर मैं किसी भी स्कूल के पास करियर काउंसलिंग का प्रपोजल लेकर जाता हूँ, या फिर मैं एक डिजाइन लैब का प्रपोजल लेकर जाता हूँ, या फिर 2 days ago we discussed how we can incorporate coding for school students, तो अगर मैं उसका प्रपोजल लेकर जाता हूँ तो दे आर लाइक कि सर मार्क्स से हमें फर्क पड़ता है, बोर्ड में कितने मार्क्स आते हैं, बाकी सब चीजों से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. सो दिस इज एन एटीट्यूड अक्रॉस our country, which is
Yeah.
true. So we know that, and people in the comments, feel free to disagree if you do, but yeah, that's what I have seen across. So should we establish, like, how do we establish this in every school, or should we even establish this in every school?
Yeah, that's a very deep question. And I think, yes, definitely it should be part of every school. And I think, see, it's more like a tinkering space with less structure. Structure as in like less curriculum based stuff, and it's mostly like a space that you can be, like, at least that's how I imagine Kalpanadham to be. And it worked well in this context for me because of the nature of these kids. They were inherently used to creating everything from scratch. They were very skilled in their hands. They built things in their villages. So a lot of things came naturally to them. Now you simulate the same thing in a city space, it may or may not work. It depends on the materials you keep, the kind of the brain or thought process that the kids get or inherit from their parents or from their surroundings, and they bring that to the space. So everything, I believe, needs to be contextual. It needs to provide the freedom that is required in that space, and then you keep evolving it. So it is like Kalpanadham, what it stands as of now. I don't think it can, even in these last 4 to 5 years, I'm sure it has evolved in the minds of the kids as they have grown, in the eyes of the community themselves. So it's a continuously evolving concept. So, and it has to evolve because life in general is evolving. So, but the fact that you're open as a organization or as an ecosystem to have this kind of a space, I think that is something of a bigger question. Like, are we open to letting our community, it needn't be only kids, it can be teachers also. I'm sure there are adults who are interested in exploring and experimenting like this along with a team. I mean, how open are we to do that? And is it necessary to have like a grading system for everything? Is it not enough that a person is able to enjoy creation and be satisfied with the process, be able to talk about it like I'm talking right now? I mean, I don't see it as like, I see this whole thing as an experience, a very rich experience for everyone who was part of this. So isn't that enough as part of your life? It has taught you, it has taught the kids so much, it has taught me so much, it has taught the children so much, the teachers so much. So I mean, we should be able to appreciate that kind of learning. Now that thought process is very difficult to introduce. It will happen maybe over a course of time. I think this whole COVID situation is kind of making us think, retrospect a little. And there are a lot of schools these days who have a lot of parents who have started homeschooling, a lot of schools which have brought in alternative methods. So I think in those places, this is very much possible, this kind of concept. And like, I also didn't do it like a virgin concept, like only doing this. I also in between, I would like bring in those aspects of competition or that worldly things, in the sense that make the kids participate in painting competitions, state level competitions, because they were skilled. Why not? So I made them participate in competitions where only city children would participate. So I took the pains to get in touch with the city institutions, get the topic of painting, post the paintings, and they won gold medals, they won prizes. So eventually those kind of things also brought in more confidence for the community ki, this is bringing college to our school, like our school is seen something somewhere. So then suddenly everybody wants the piece of the pie. So that was not the intention, but the intention was to make them like just take notice a little. We don't do a lot of those, but we try to like at least get the kids to feel that they what they are doing is really good for them, or it's noteworthy, basically. I don't know if I answered your question entirely, but it's a process. It cannot be just thrusted. I mean, it's a very slow process, and it happens. And the more it happens, there'll be more acceptance, and then there'll be more people who want to do it, who want to give it a chance. So it's just about that whole phase or that wave to start.
Right. It is a process which has to be started. I think this line sums up everything. And the learning is gradual, but as we saw, the results are great if we persist with it. And this skill that the teacher develops, the students develop, will definitely help out in any career that you go to, even if it is not art and design.
Yeah.
Over to Samant.
Yes.
Firstly, I did have a few questions I've written down. I wanted to ask a lot of things, but I just want to ask one very important thing, and I think this is completely off script. So even Aditya might be little tense. Are you currently open to raising more funds or for expansion?
Yes, I was into a lot of ideas for fundraising. Like I was actually trying to create merchandise out of what has already been created, and see how that can be, a fuel for workshops. I put in some of my own funding sometimes that I earn through fellowships or others. So yeah, I would love to have a steady flow of funds to be able to continue this kind of so what is happening now is only when we have funds, we are able to mobilize the community and get the workshops done, which kind of delays a lot of things. But yeah, I'll be open to it. Yes.
So I actually want to start a fundraiser because Aditya knows this. I mean, I personally don't have the money that I can splurge on, that I can give away. But what I do have is a platform where people follow me. I have a very small following, and they
Mhm.
can contribute. And I think I want to start a fundraiser, and not just the charity a fundraiser, but actually
Mhm.
want to do a painting purchasing event as well. So, Shalini,
Awesome.
if you would be
Yeah.
interested in that, I want to collaborate with you on that, and
Sure.
let's see if magic happens and my audience actually ends up helping. I think they
Yeah.
will, but I want to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
And definitely, guys. So that is confirmed. That is
Thank you.
happening. And of course, अभी details कुछ है नहीं. This is just word to word agreement. But definitely, I will talk to Shalini ji and discuss more. And as soon as things go forward, I will get back to ProBano's page and we'll give you all the details for the fundraiser and the painting sale event. I don't know the exact term
Awesome.
what you say there. But we will get back to you with the details. And I think
Awesome.
I want to be part of this. And
Thank
even though
you.
I cannot be a teacher, can go on the ground, I think I can do my
You
part.
don't have
And
to be. You don't have to. You just have to be yourself. That's all.
the best I can do in this position is provide a platform where funds can be mobilized, and that's my part. And
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, that is a lot of help actually.
great. So, guys, we will get back to you as soon as there are any updates. Of course, we will have to talk more about that behind the
Definitely.
scenes. But I think just one last question I want to ask from the audience.
Yeah.
Anita she has another question. She says, Shalini, how do you see the future expansion of your work?
Yeah, that's been a lingering question for me also, because my effort was so contextual to that space and that ecosystem, though it can easily be taken in any space, because kids are kids in everywhere. So we have right now expanded to the 4 schools within Gram Vikas in Odisha itself in very remote locations, and we would love to partner with any other organizations who are open to take that flight, with us, and be open to us coming in and planning some workshops for them, understanding their ecosystem. And yeah, I mean, we are more than happy to do that. But we are not like a big team, we are a small team. We work with volunteers who are willing to work with us. Obviously, like not free work. I mean, I try not to get free work from anyone. Like they get, benefit of their involvement. And yeah, and we are pretty well connected and we know people, so we can mobilize volunteers and experts who will be willing to contribute their expertise openly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shalini. I'm not going to add anything to that. Let's just see where things go. And I think on behalf of ProBano, I can say we also want to be part of this and
Okay.
do our bit to help in any way possible. And of course, with that, first of
Thank
all,
you.
to all the audience members, thank you for your questions, comments, and insights. And Aditya, Mr. Sen, thank you for coming, and Vinayak for streaming. And of course, most importantly, Shalini ji, thank you so much for coming. That was beautiful. That's all I'm
Thank
going to
you.
say. That
Thank
was
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. It
Uh,
all is like the kids and Satyabama and the team. Yeah. Yeah.
you're too
I'm just
modest,
bringing
but
it to you.
great. But Shalini ji, thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you for coming. So, guys,
Thank you.
with that being said, stay home, stay safe, wash your
Yes.
hands, like and follow our Facebook page, and turn on post notifications to get notified when we do go live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our videos on our entrepreneurship. And we'll see you tomorrow at the same time with another guest at 6 p.m. Take care now. Bye bye. See you.
Bye.